Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to On the Links Live. I'm Pete Dalladay, and we got a great show for you lined up today. Mr. Karl Lawson is going to be joining us here in just a couple moments. We had him, and then I asked him to change his camera to landscape mode, and we lost him. I think he hung up, but he's coming back in. We're going to be talking to Karl about what's going on. The ladies are in a major championship this weekend, so we'll chat about that. Jason Day barely getting through his round yesterday. We'll see what's happening with him. He's not far off the lead, but he's got a bad back. Some big names amongst the leaders there on the PGA Tour. We'll recap the U.S. Open, of course, which was I'm not going to say uneventful. There was almost too many events going on last Sunday. It was wild. And John Rahm ends up winning it when it was all said and done. So we'll recap that as well. We might even talk a little hockey today because Karl, being such a big Montreal fan, he's continuing to struggle off the. Let me just see. Look, watch this. See, this is what's going on behind the scenes here. This is
okay. How's that?
No, now you're. So it's sideways, but I think your phone is locked, not allowing you to go landscape. So just go back to normal. Just go back to normal. Oh, dear. It's technology is a wonderful thing, isn't it? And David Bui is going to be joining us from Ptbo Canada. He has golf junk in his trunk. He plays out of his trunk, which I love. He just goes from course to course. And he just tees it up and drinks sandbaggers while he does it. And he'll be joining us here in a couple of minutes as well to talk a little about his adventures. You know, he's been going all the way down to the Quinty area to play the odd time, in around the Kawarthas. And, well, let's Karl, that's good enough right there, bud. That'll work.
Okay. Buddy.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah. Well, we'll take a look at your BlackBerry. We'll take a look at your BlackBerry when we get a chance. No, we lost him again. And look at that. We'll get to David here sooner than later, but he's behind the scenes and has his sandbagger already. Well, listen, David, while Karl works on his phone there, good morning to you, sir. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. How are you doing, Pete?
Yeah, we're doing good. Thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you work for Ptbo Canada under Curtis the Card there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm the editor/writer for Ptbo Canada. Have been since the takeover when Neil Morton sold the business to Curtis Evoy back in the start of March. So I've been working as Curtis's right-hand man since, and it's been a wonderful, fun experience. I know you've had your hand with us as well with Ptbo Canada, doing a lot of fun stuff with us, doing some lives, and then doing our series Hometown Ptbo, where we talk to a lot of like Peterborough celebrities that kind of made it the big time or something like that, and just how they grew up in Peterborough, because there's a lot of wonderful local talent that our city has. And it's great to, with a very tiny city that we are, it's great to see that we can produce such wonderful talent here, and it's great to showcase that. So that's what I'm all about, as very briefly. And as far as golf goes, like, I only started playing golf last year is when I started. So I'm trying to learn the ropes as I go along. But even in doing so, as you mentioned, like, I've been playing like in so many places. I think I've already played at about like 6-7 different courses already in my very young golf career.
Yeah, and I know Karl's with us now, and Karl, one of the courses you're familiar with that I think David had a chance to play, I guess I'm assuming for the very first time, maybe, because if he's only been golfing since last year, but that is down in sort of the Brighton area. You were there a couple weeks ago, and Timber Ridge, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They're beautiful course, but those greens were very unforgiving. And when I was there a couple of weeks ago, the bunkers, like, it was full of white sand. They were trying to keep us out of it. So anytime you got in the bunker, it's like, you can just take a free drop out of it. So made my score look a little bit better than what it would typically be.
Well, Karl's got a tip for your sand game, I'm sure, eh, Loss?
Yeah. You plant the legs and all arms. Swing with your arms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a nice track, Timber Ridge. What's that?
It is. And you wait forward, would you say? Depending on the lie, or?
Yeah, a little bit of weight, a little bit more weight on the front foot, but the most important thing is really just to plant those legs and so that you're not lunging at it, and it's all arms. That's the
All
trick
right.
I learned.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
this is coming from a guy that fired another 82 at Pinecrest on Friday, so he knows what he's talking about. All right, listen, David, we're gonna put you backstage again.
Sure, no problem.
We got to get to our leaderboard, and then we'll bring you back. Okay, buddy?
Yeah, not a problem.
Just spend some time with your cat there. Okay. So, Karl, now that you're straightening around a little bit, let's get into the leaderboard here. And the leaderboard, of course, as always, brought to you by that fine-looking gentleman right there, Dion Jamidi, award-winning realtor. He's always on the Century 21 leaderboard, and he was going to join us this morning, but he's busy showing houses, which is no surprise there. So what do we got for the leaderboard today, Karl?
Well, the PGA is the Travelers Championship coming from the TPC River Highland course in Connecticut. It's a Pete Dye design. So again, the golf course is a little bit of the story this week, Pete. So we have Bubba Watson, a familiar name. So Bubba looking for his first win since 2018 at the same course. This will be his fourth opportunity. He's already won it 3 times, won this championship 3 times. So he's pretty excited, I'm sure. And then we have tied Kramer Hickok.
Yeah.
Now, just so you know, he is the first Kramer to ever play on the PGA.
Is he playing Titleist?
I forgot about that episode. No. So that's a compelling story, but the leaderboard's jammed up. Jason Day, you talked about him a little earlier. He sits 1 back, -9, and Cameron Smith, who we saw a couple of weeks ago at the U.S. Open.
Yep.
And Russell Henley, who also played really well at the U.S. Open. So those 3 are 1 shot back at this course. Oops, sorry, Pete.
That's okay.
And
it's all good.
So the interesting thing here, though, there was a question asked about why do the 54-hole leaders always stumble on Sunday at this course? And Mark Leishman, who won it in 2012, said, well, it's a course like you always walk out feeling like you can shoot 65.
Yeah.
But someone does, not necessarily the guy that thinks he's going to shoot 65, but he came back to win it from 6 strokes back in 2012. Bubba won it from 6 strokes back in 2010, I think, in one of his wins. So it's a course that, like you say, you can have a big lead and it can disappear in a hurry, and people can come back from the back of the field. So that's an interesting part about it. Should mention 2 other guys well in the hunt, -7, both Dustin Johnson, world's #1, and Bryson DeChambeau. So, yeah, it should be a good one. I was mentioning about Day, though. I was telling you it was hard to watch yesterday. He pinched something in his back, so he was gently reaching down to, you have to take your ball out of the hole. But you can always tell when a guy's hurting when he's slow motion taking the ball out of the hole. And he looked like he was really struggling to even finish the day yesterday.
He needs to get one of those suction cups like the high handicappers out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the end of the putter. But anyway, so I'm hoping he can compete today. He looked pretty there rough.
I like Jason Day. I always root for him. Yeah, he seems like a nice guy,
I like
right?
Him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't whine or complain. But he's 3 years since he won, and so he'll be looking. It could be a tough day for him, but. Yeah. Again, with that field, with all those guys in the hunt,
I'm going for Kramer. I'm going for Kramer for the win.
Right. One of the great.
That's great episode.
Yeah, doesn't the ball end up in the whales?
Yes, gets dislodged. Gets lodged in. Yeah. Anyway, great episode. I might watch it later today. What about the women? What's going on with them as we continue on with the leaderboard here?
Well, the women's PGA Championship, or as they call it, the KMPG. You know what that stands for?
It's a consulting firm of some sort, isn't it? Or some big fancy, I don't know.
That's it. But I other than that, I couldn't tell you. But
that's Phil Mickelson's old sponsor.
Oh, that's right.
They do a lot. Yeah.
But the women are at the Highland course in Georgia, and we have two girls that have separated themselves from the field, Nelly Corda and Lizette Salas. Now, Nelly Corda, you'll remember I talked about last week, her great round on the Saturday where she went 5 birdies on the front, 6 birdies on the back, 1 bogey for a minus 10.62. And she won that tournament last week. But this is her first chance to win a major. So there's her and her sister, Jessica. Jessica, I think, has 6 wins. And I think last week, Nelly's probably 7th win. But neither girl has ever won a major. You know, they're both really great players.
Yeah.
And they're the only, in their family, there's already a major winner. Do you know that story, Pete?
No.
So their father in Australia is a major tennis. He's a tennis player who has won a major. I think probably, I'm not sure which one, probably the Australian Open. But so a family and a brother who's also contending right now for a major tennis championship. So a pretty talented family, obviously.
Wow. My brother and I both competed in Kawartha for track and field. Is that good for anything?
Well, did you get to Casa?
Yeah, we got to Casa, but that's as good as it got. Anyway, yeah, but we lost.
So they've really separated themselves from the field, minus 15. So they're 5-stroke lead. Both her and Lizette Salas. Our Canadian girls, Elena Sharp is minus 4, tied for 13th, and Brooke is minus 3, tied for 17th. So probably not going to come back from that today, but a good showing by both the girls for sure.
Awesome. All right, there you have it. There's your Dion Jamidi leaderboard. Did you have more there? Or
I'm sorry. I should quickly mention the seniors are also playing their Players Championship at the Bridgestone Players Championship in Akron, Ohio. The story there is a 4-shot lead by the Ryder Cup champion Steve Stricker, only 51 years old, but obviously playing well. Had an 8-stroke lead, gave back 3 or 4 on the back. So Steve Stricker over Jerry Kelly. But I find it a little interesting, like say, you know, Steve Stricker, maybe during the Ryder Cup, he may have to tee it up.
It's interesting. And just before we get back to David Bui, we're going to be getting to our guest. I saw this on Facebook last night, Karl, and you know this guy right here. John Kindred, the longtime pro at Pinecrest for many years and has, spent a lot of time down in South. He says, if you want to swing like Mo, he's talking about Mo Norman, who was once considered to have the best swing in golf. Just watch Steve Stricker. Old PGA Pro information. High hands at address will give you lower hands at the top of your backswing. And it goes on and on. Watch Steve. His hands and arms are very quiet during the course of the backswing. And he says, I remember seeing a quote by Jack Nicklaus in a newspaper. The topic was golf's foul shots. Jack went on to say that golf's foul shots were caused by overactive hands and arms during the course of the backswing. And that's a lesson for all handicap golfers. Mo had quiet hands. Steve Stricker has very quiet hands. John Kindred, life member of the PGA of America and a Pinecrest legend.
Yeah, alumni for sure. He'd be a great guest to have on. John, as you know, he's in Sarasota.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sarasota, and I was lucky enough to play with him a few times. I mean, it's been a lot of years now, but
he showed me my first grip when I was about 11 or 12 at Lift Lock. He was doing lessons back then, and I still have that same grip today. But I do have to work on the quiet hands a bit more, though. Yeah.
Well, I tell you one thing: when he does manage to get home, I don't know if he made it home last summer, but he's always still a pleasure to watch. You know, those older golfers, just they look like
always dressed well.
Thing is, and also when they hit it, it just makes a little different sound and it goes further. So John would be a great guest. Yeah, we'll have to get him on.
That'd be fun. Speaking of great guests, time to bring back David Bui onto the show here. This was him yesterday. He rocks the Sandbaggers and showing it off there pretty good. It looks like at Keystone. So we'll bring him on after this short. And welcome back. There you have it. The show brought to you in part by Sandbagger. And there's a guy that knows a thing or two about Sandbaggers, David Bui. Good morning again, Dave. Oh, you're starting early. I like it.
Oh, I'm just getting myself ready. I do have a tee time later on at Heron Landing at 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay. You're playing Heron today. So
yep.
You're getting into them quick. That's good. And hopefully you're just getting picked up so you can enjoy a couple Sandbaggers. Tell us about yesterday's round. Yesterday, you've been touring around, playing out of your trunk, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, you're at Keystone. How was that?
Oh, Keystone, probably some of the best golf I've ever played on my own personal level, just because I typically struggle with the driver. And yesterday, I barely did that. Maybe I shanked about 2 hits on it overall, but it was a fantastic day, and I was doing a lot of one putts on many of my shots. Pretty good chipping, so yeah, I couldn't complain. Obviously, a lot of generous shots, a little bit of a couple mulligans here and there that I won't speak of, that kind of thing. But overall, though, probably definitely one of the better games that I've played in the past year or so that I've been in this sport.
Well, that's good. Good. Hey.
Can't complain at all.
You're going in the right direction, man.
That's what we're doing. Just trying to trend in the right direction. You can never learn enough in this game.
Yeah.
David, do you know the other name for using when you're having a sandbagger? A lot of guys refer to that as swing oil.
Oh, really? Oh,
loosens you.
I like that term. I like that term. Yes, I'll remember that.
Very good. Very good.
I got a story about Keystone, and Karl actually is involved in this story indirectly. I was playing in a tournament, a charity tournament scramble. I was on hole number 5, which is goes along, kind of moves north to south along some farmland to the left. And you kind of hit out of a chute a little bit. You're back. And anyway, it was raining that day, and Karl had given me this driver of his that he used to have called it was called Rest in Peace. It was for its time, it was a big-headed driver, and it was called Rest in Peace, that's the funny part of the story, because I hit the ball, hit it well, and the guys I was playing with was like, "Oh, good shot, like good hit." I'm like, "Yeah, where did my driver go?" My driver, it flew right out of my hands because the grip was wet, and I think it landed in the farmer's field to the left. Hence the name Rest in Peace. Like, that was the name of the driver. Well, apparently someone found it about 7 years later and turned it in. I never did get back out to pick it up, but that was Karl's driver. Thank you, Karl. I like that driver too.
I just, now that you mention it, I remember it. But I've heard of guys losing balls, Pete, but never really heard of a guy losing a club. So
yeah, there's a couple of clubs, I think, in the trees of Kawartha that have been launched up there too. Never came down. But anyway, so Keystone was good. You're off to Heron Landing today. Do you walk? Do you ride? What do you and your buddies do? What's the ritual?
Typically, when I'm at Heron's Landing, it's a bit of a smaller course compared to all the other ones. So I will walk on that one. But if I ever go to like a bigger course or anything like for example, Keystone, Cachowano, Tamarack, those are a bit of bigger courses. So in those cases, I would take a cart. But I also have like this one friend who just refuses to ever walk. He always has to have a cart. So if I ever go with him, then I'll split one with him. It's not the guy in the picture that you showed earlier of me. It's his cousin that always wants to have a cart. So whenever we go with him, then we'll go with the cart. But the local courses around here, when I play like Lift Lock or Heron Landing, the shorter courses, I'm okay with the walk. I'm not a big problem at all.
Yeah, whenever I played Lift Lock, I felt a little awkward taking a cart at Lift Lock. It's just, right. Like, you're out of the cart more than you're in the cart.
Yeah,
especially on that executive 9. It's hard to.
Yeah, you might as well just leave it parked.
So, David, do you play? What about other sports? What do you play? That.
Well, I played baseball for, I think, about like 13, 14 years, off and on. It depends on the season, of course, and depends on my schedule. I played baseball, football. I have also done freestyle wrestling as well, also one of my big sports, and rugby. So I play a wide variety of sports. And of course, I played basketball, I played badminton, so some other sports. But those are like the major sports that I played over my time. And now I've started to finally been able to pick up golf, which is nice. You know, it's kind of like the richer man's game, but kind of walked into, you know, a little bit more of a salary now as of late. So it's okay. I can at least afford playing golf a little bit more, especially now that I'm with Ptbo Canada. So that's always nice that it can kind of offset my new slightly expensive hobby. But really, it's just a startup that's expensive. But once you get going, it's not that bad. I find.
Yeah, I don't think it's not quite the rich man sport that it once was. It's a little bit more accessible for sure.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Maybe it wasn't that way like 15, 20 years ago for sure. When I actually like inherited my first set of clubs, strangely enough, when I was like 15 years ago, but just never had the opportunity to. I didn't really have friends that played golf, and it wasn't until last year where one of my very good friends, who also very, very casual in golfing, just asked me, what would you do theoretically if you wanted to golf? I'm like, well, I actually have a set of clubs, and I'm going to go see my sister in London, and her boyfriend knows how to golf, so he could teach me a little bit, like do a little driving range in the back. And then ever since then, I've golfed most of the time, at least once a week. So it's so addicting to play, and you know, I definitely had a shout out a curse word here and there, as I'm sure a lot of people do, especially with my drives. They get me a lot, but oh man, it's
never on Sunday.
What's on the bucket list now? I mean, sounds like you've knocked off 4 or 5 local courses already this year. What is on that dream list for the rest of the season to try and get on?
I would probably say at least get multiple birdies in one round. I've only had like 2 birdies ever so far, and they were both this year actually. I couldn't score a single birdie at all last year, but I'm hoping this year I can at least get two in one round. That's the hope. That's the hope.
What about golf courses? I see Ptbo Golf and Country Club is one of our sponsors. Is it the goal to graduate at some point and play one of those courses at least once this year, or what?
Oh, definitely for sure, because I know Curtis Evoy, I think he has a membership there, so he was telling me about, so he'll bring me on there sometime. I would love to see it. I know it's like a wonderful, like well-renowned course. So
once you get that second birdie, then maybe we'll think about that.
You get that second birdie.
You get 2 birdies in a round, and we'll get you on tour.
All right. Well, maybe today will be the day that I'll be thinking about that when I go to Heron Landing today. I actually had I had a chance on yesterday when I was at Keystone. I was up, maybe we'll say like 20 feet away from the hole, and I had my first birdie putt on the first hole. Unfortunately, that turned into a bogey, and that was like my only one hole that I was just terrible with putting, and then everything else I was 2 putting max. So
good.
So that's the thing. At least like I'm not like the strongest person, so I don't pride myself on like, you know, cranking the ball 250 yards off the deck. So, you know, I try to be maybe I'm like 200, 220 with my driver, but you know, I try to pride myself on my iron play, which is a lot better than my driver play and even my chipping.
All right. Well, enjoy your round. Enjoy your sandbagger. Let's see another shot of it there. That's now available in the LCBO, and that should be good for a couple of birdies today. And if you know, you get 2, let us know, and we'll get you on the big course. All right.
I'll hold you to it, Pete.
All right, David. Thanks for joining us. Keep up the great work, Ptbo Canada. You guys do a nice job there, and enjoy your day. Okay.
Hey, thanks a lot, Pete. Thank you for having me.
All right.
See you
for now. See you. David Bui, everybody.
So it's 4 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, he's at the end of the baggers. And listen. Brings us to our next segment, Karl, and that is brought to you by the folks you see right up there. Tony's Clubhouse. They continue to have a great special on regrips. So many people, I'm sad to say, are playing with grips that are affecting their game, affecting their score, and perhaps enjoyment of the game. For $97, kids, you can get 13 Royal Link grips. Tony's Clubhouse, located right in the heart of what I would call the avenues, Karl, there in the central part of the city.
Nice
for $97, your choice of colors too. So exclusive deal to On the Links.
I might get 3 of each. I might go there and get 3 red, 3 blue, 3 black.
I never thought of that. Habs colors.
Nice.
Oh,
Habs
nice
colors.
Segue into our our next segment. Big win by the Habs on what was it, Thursday night, I guess.
Amazing.
They're off to the
Thursday
finals.
Night. Oh my! It's been so exciting. So listen, I'll do a double segue because it leads into the hockey talk. But I went down to the Morrow Center last night to see my band, Jim Cuddy Band, and got a chance to see all my bandmates who I haven't seen in a year. So it was a great night.
Yeah.
I'm also sporting my Melissa Payne T-shirt. Melissa and Dylan Ireland were the opening act. So what was going to be a rain event, the rain never did come, Pete. So and the folks down in the Morrow Center did a really nice job. It turned out to be a really nice evening of music. And again, I didn't get wet. So congratulations to everybody that came out. It was just nice to experience some live music, of course. And Dylan and Melissa, as always, were pro.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But I went to see Jim backstage. As you know, a huge hockey fan, and of course, a huge Maple Leaf fan.
Yep.
So he sat me down. He said, "Okay, we gotta talk." He says, "Okay, let's talk about hockey and let's talk about your Habs." And it was kind of funny. I told him I said, "You haven't heard from me." I said, "I didn't phone any of my Toronto Maple Leafs fans. I didn't kind of have the heart to rub it in." We've seen the collapse with the Bruins over the years, but the Habs coming back from 3-1 was pretty spectacular. But that was kind of the heart of the conversation, and that being, he feels they've obviously played great, but he can't believe how much the hockey puck luck has fallen their way.
Yeah,
and he made a good point. Like through the three series, he referred back to Matthews' missed goal in the overtime.
Yep.
And then they didn't get the luck, but he's really quite shocked at he admittedly Montreal has obviously got better and better as the rounds have went on. They're playing pretty phenomenal hockey, I think you would say, but there's a little truth to what he's saying. To win as many overtimes, to come back from 1-0 deficits. Yeah. They've had all the luck, and that kind of leads me to he's figure skating. Jim
Cuddy doing a little dance there afterwards. Carries the two sticks too. Look at that, in case he breaks one.
Oh God, he loves hockey. He's the captain of the Juno Cup team, and as you know, in London, which is that the last Junos before the pandemic? I guess so.
I think so. Yeah.
The artist for the first time in like 20 years actually won the game that day in London. So everybody's still living on that one. But the fact that they've really had the puck luck, but I'm a little concerned. I was hoping for an Islanders Canadians matchup. I thought for old time's sake. I think I heard you talking about it on your morning show the other day.
Yeah.
But Tampa Bay makes me nervous. That's the point I was going to make. They don't need a ton of puck luck. They're a good, solid four-line team, and they have also got a really good goalie. So Montreal is going to need to continue to play well, but I think they're also going to need a little bit of that puck luck to continue, and we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think the Habs have been fun to watch, but they have got puck luck, which they a lot of coaches, a lot of people say, well, you make your own bounces, right? You create your own bounces, but it helps. It definitely helps. I mean, you look at that Islanders Tampa finish the other night. It was wild. There were so many crazy things going on, and the Islanders honestly just couldn't get a bounce. That was the difference in the game, was a bounce, and they didn't get it. But anyway, so how about this guy, Karl? Marty Silvestri, the White Beaver. Yeah. Terrible golfer. Yeah. But of course, he's a big Habs fan. He's with you. Yeah. He's one of those guys. I don't have the full video of him, but this is him after the game, and it looks like he was into the Sandbaggers on Thursday night. That he was pouring it all over himself, making a mess, but he's waited a long time. Like the last time that the Canadiens got into the finals was 1993, of course, right? And Marty would have been only, 18 then, 17. So it's been a while. So,
So I got to tell you, I got to just tell you a couple of things about that. I don't know if you remember, but in 93, I was managing a club in Kingston, Ontario, home of Kirk Muller. And we had a private party a month after the Cup win. And at the bar, and so I drank from the cup in '93.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to, the year Gainey won it, I was in Montreal in '86, so that was pretty cool. And but last night Jim did because of course you honk the horn to applause, so he wanted to know from the Peterborough crowd, are there any Leaf fans? And of course there was a ton. The horns went off, and he goes, "Yeah." Okay, I thought so. He goes, "What about who will cheer for the Canadians?" And it was pretty good. Maybe half those horns, will cheer for the Canadian team. That's a disturbing picture of Jim.
I'll find another one.
Yeah. So he asked both those questions, and the horns responded. And but he kind of forgot to ask how many Montreal fans until a couple of songs later. I thought he totally forgot, and he says, "Oh, by the way," he said, "how many Montreal?" He knew that Peterborough was a farm club of the Habs, so he said, "How many Habs fans are out there?" And boy, there was only a few horns. So the straw poll shows that Peterborough is much more a Leaf fan town than I thought. I thought it was more. I thought it was more 50-50, but the poll last night was definitely 70.
I think it's 70-30.
Yeah,
but 30 is still a big percentage. I mean, I can list off 15 Habs fans right off the top of my head from Peterborough. So, Anyway, I don't know. This guy, I think, is a Leaf fan. I don't know. I want to get moving on here. We got he's usually watching the show and commenting, but we haven't heard from George Bellaperch yet. Maybe he's still golfing, but that he's a member out of Pinecrest. Georgie on the left. I don't know who that is to the right. I don't recognize him. I probably know him, but I just don't, with the golf hat on and the goatee. I don't know who that is. Do you know him?
It gets hard. Yeah, no, I should, and I don't. But I also want to mention the other guy down there at Pinecrest, Randy Bissonette, who's a good friend of the show, and they're playing in their club championships today. They got rained out yesterday, and but Randy, I saw he was sporting Friday afternoon. He was sporting his Habs jersey on the course. So lucky your cousin Rick wasn't there. I haven't seen Rick. He's gone.
He's been quiet. He's just the Leafs got.
You should maybe check in on him, Pete. He's your cousin, and a lot of those Leafs fans are not in good shape. There's the Kaiser. There's a Montreal fan.
Kay's a Habs fan. Yeah, there you go.
Big Habs fan. East City boy. Kaiser Financial.
Yes, he's got the Kaiser Mansion looking pretty good over there on McFarland, boy.
Yeah. Have you ever played golf with Pete?
Yeah, years ago down in Larchmere. Yeah.
He played can stripe it. We'll have to get.
Pete kind of looks like this. Pete looks like this a little bit on the course. Hey, wanted to get to another good story here in the golf world, and that is our man. Well, hang on, I can't even see his name here because of the scrolling there. I'm going to take that banner off so we can see Cooper Brown there at the bottom. Cooper is a teaching professional, great guy. Speaking of Leaf fans, he's from Ottawa, but is a big Toronto Maple Leaf fan. Anyway, the teaching pro over at Peterborough, and shot -5, 68-71 at the Great Lakes Tour event in Belleville at the beautiful Trillium Wood, just outside of Belleville, just like a kilometer down the road, right from off the highway, pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, good opening round. You know what? Another 68 would have got him probably right there in the top three, but Michael Gonko winning that one, picked up about $6,000, but I think Cooper picked up about $750. So it's not bad. And a top 10, a top 10 for Cooper Brown. Congrats, buddy. He was on our very first show of the year. Remember the Masters special? Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Sir. Well, good on him. Obviously, anybody can shoot a 65 can play golf. He's clearly a player. Because I don't care what course you're on, Peter. That's pretty solid golf.
Yeah, good job, Coop, for sure.
Yeah.
We got Mark Silvestri. He says overall Silvestri family is 70-30. So there you go. Of the 10 of them or whatever, there 7 are Habs fan. Oh, that's reverse. Sorry, that's 70% Habs, 30% Leafs. But then there's Karl Silvestri, and Karl's a Red Wings fan. So I don't know. What are you going to do? But what else is going on here, Karl? I got a couple other quickies here for you I wanted to get to.
I will throw you the golf quote. the golf
The
quote
golf
of the day.
quote of the week.
from
Let's do it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, right out of my golf calendar. And so today's quote was from a baseball player, George Brett.
Oh,
And
yeah.
his quote was, yeah, he came off the course and he said he was 3 over. 1 over the house, 1 over the patio, and 1 over the swimming pool. And we've been there.
Oh, we have been there. Yeah. I've put one over the house before. Peter Blodgett's house on the first tee. Peterborough Golf and Country Club. I've put one over the patio over at Kawartha, right there on number 12. Ended up having to go back over the patio. Made my 5. You know, it was a nice 5. What was the third one?
Over the swimming pool.
Over the swimming pool. Yeah, that'd be number 7 at Kawartha, probably.
There you go. So
Why
I
don't,
like that one.
Here's a question for you. Friend of the show, Dan O'Toole, who's got a new job, by the way. But anyway, he was saying to me a couple of weeks ago, why isn't there more swimming pools? Of course, it was about 30 degrees that day. Why is there more swimming pools at golf courses? They got country clubs, if you will, if you want to call it that. But why isn't there more pools? Like, why wouldn't they just add a pool? Old school. Is it a safety thing, a health thing? You think it's a natural? I'd love to play around a golf and then just sit around the pool for like the next 3 hours.
Well, I know when we're watching those ones from Florida and Arizona, those courses are pretty surrounded by mansions and swimming pools. Maybe not so much up here.
I'd put one right on the property. Bring it back. These places should have more options.
Oh, as part of the golf course.
That's part of the facility. Yeah.
Oh, instead of a curling rink.
Well, or just in addition to.
Yeah,
you know?
that'd be cool.
Why don't they have? Why don't golf courses? Why don't they have beach volleyball courts? They got all that sand anyway. Just bring it a bit more. Set up it's one-stop shopping.
So right next to the putting green, driving range, and then you have the beach volleyball court. I like it. I like it. And like you say, now you could bring the family members that aren't into golf.
Bring the whole family, get them involved, right? I don't know.
Good.
Maybe we're crazy.
I'm sure we'll hear from somebody. We'll talk to Glenn at Wildfire.
Well, there's a perfect example. Wildfire.
Yeah.
I think a beach volleyball court just tucked in nicely. Maybe closer down to the bay there. I don't know if they own the property on the other side of the road or whatever, but wouldn't that be kind of cool? Just saying.
Very cool. Very cool.
Got to take a quick time out, Karl. We'll be back after this commercial break to wrap things up and say our goodbyes. And we will be back right after this, everyone. All right, that's pretty much going to do it for us. A couple quick mentions here as well. Mark Silvestri, he likes the comment. I like that. And I can't think of anyone in our fam that plays golf well. Overall, horrible golfers. I shot an honest 116 at Pinecrest on Friday. Well, hey, that's just
honest golfer. I like it.
35 shots more than Karl. So not a big deal. Mark, as long as you're playing.
Well, and also, you know what? I like his style. You count your shots.
That's
if he was
right.
116,
no
he's
cheating
116 next week he'll be 110, and before you know it, he'll be 100. But I like those honest golfers. So he gets the honest golfer award this week, Pete, for sure. Absolutely.
Well, listen, thanks everyone for watching. We appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to Rolo Golf. This is my new favorite golf hat. It's got like the little, I don't know what you'd call this. I love this. It's old school. It reminds me of the old Titleist hats.
Yeah. With the cord. Yeah.
So thanks to Rolo. Love the t-shirt. Melissa Payne, one of our favorites. And Dylan put on a great opening show last night with the Jim Cuddy Band. Shout out to Jeremy at the Memorial Center and everyone that's come together to put this music and arts together. It's really good. Gives something to do for people. Today, Splash and Boots, Karl. I don't know if you're going to be heading down there with the grand nephews or nieces, but that should be a good show for the family.
Well, again, good shout out to all those people that are making these events happen, because if nothing else last night, even though everybody was in their cars and honking horns, it just felt good. It just felt good to see people and, see somebody up on stage. And we're gonna be out of this thing soon enough, so keep plugging.
Yeah, and we'll see you on the links, everyone. Get out there, support your local golf courses. Spend a little money if you can with their food and beverage. Tip the cart girls and all that stuff, because they were out of work for a while too. So, Karl, thanks, buddy. We'll see you at the beach. All right.
Right on, Pete.
By the way,
we
made our debut on YouTube. We linked to YouTube, so you can catch the show now on YouTube.
Wow.
We're getting up there, man.
Big time.
See everyone. See you on the links.